So, thanks to quarantine, you're stuck at home alone filming. I always film alone, and filming alone doesn't mean you can't have some cool camera movements in your videos. I put out a few videos. I had a lot of people asking how I pulled off some of the shots, especially because I'm filming alone. So here you go. Here's a few quick and dirty, cheap tricks to get cool shots when filming alone. You're gonna need blue tape and probably a yardstick. Now this blue tape stuff is incredible. It's also called painter's tape, a bunch of other names, whatever. It sticks to itself fantastically, sticks to everything else okay, and doesn't leave a residue. That's super important. I love this stuff, it's magical, and almost every one of these tips and tricks involves blue tape in some way. So let's say you want that sweet macro shot, like super up close of something, and you're filming alone. You can actually pop the lens off your camera and flip it around, and you can get a macro shot. What's that have to do with filming alone? Well, if you don't feel like ordering the adapter to hold it backwards or ordering a macro lens, you can literally tape that sucker in place so that your hands can be in the shot. I'm serious. Laugh all you want, but I've done this. Looks ridiculous, right? But it totally works. Just be careful not to get dirt in there, your sensor, be careful with your camera equipment. But this totally works, costs virtually nothing, get you that macro shot with your hands in the frame. The end. So let's say you want a little bit of tripod movement. But you want to be in the frame, of course. Turn your tripod so that the handle is sticking off to the side instead of back. Take out your trusty yardstick, a little bit of blue tape, and you're probably already figuring this out. Tape that junk together, and there you go. Loosen everything up and you got a little bit of leeway. You can get that out of frame usually, down a little bit low, pretend like you're working really hard on something, and move it. And here's a tip. Frame everything up, get it perfectly in focus, and then move away. And then in your video editing software, you flip that so it looks like the camera is turning to you and coming perfectly into focus. Here's another quick and easy tripod one. I've taped the back 2 feet of my tripod to the floor to act as a pivot point. The tape keeps them from sliding around. And I really wanted to get a shot where I was up close working on something and the camera came in and landed on it. Focus, macro, right? That's a really difficult shot to do on your own unless you do it backwards and you cheat with tape and you're staying. So I taped the 2 feet to the floor. I leaned it against something to get it like this. Got the shot perfectly in focus and worked. And what you can't see, oh, you can see it, okay. And then I just grabbed the tripod with my other hand and moved it away. Reverse that footage in edit so it comes to it, and bam, it's in focus, macro, all alone. So I'm here working. And that tape on the floor is keeping this from sliding away from me. Super easy, right? Okay, I also wanted a shot where I had motion, where I'm here working and the camera came across here. And that is just as easy as can possibly be. I would pretend to work here and literally just reach out of frame and scoot the camera. Now I have one of these fancy things, it's got wheels. But you can totally cheat that. You don't have to use that, right? So I'm scooting this across here and pretending to work with a camera mounted to it, but you could just as easily take like a t-shirt, clean your surface real well, take a t-shirt, rig your camera up on it with some junk piled under the lens so it's pointing at you and all framed up, and then pretend to work and pull it. Doesn't have to be complicated. It works. I've done a few shots where there's like a rack focus from me to some other object, maybe in the background, some words or a background or something in the foreground. And that one's a little more complicated, and that goes back to the trick of doing everything in reverse. What I would do is I'd maybe set up my shot, get everything framed and get it focused on me, and then just reach my arm around and start with me in focus, and then twist the focus to the other thing. So what you can do is you can prep your shot ahead of time, put a little mark, a little piece of tape on your lens so that you can see where that second focal point is going to be out of your peripheral vision and cheat it. Also, something that I do is I had an extra TV that I have set up over here so I can actually see the shot giant and see if it's in focus. People keep asking me about that Atlanta shot, that shot where everything's crazy and it rotates around a single axis. It's a lot easier than you might think. I'm going to show you how to do it super quick and easy. Use a yardstick and take a small camera. I use the DJI Pocket Osmo, but a GoPro would work, or whatever, generic, cheap, doesn't matter. Tape it onto the end of the yardstick. Tape a weight on the other end. I used a battery from my DSLR because it was vaguely similar in weight. Doesn't have to be exact, it could be a rock, it doesn't matter. Put a hole in the middle of your yardstick and stick that hole on something and spin it, the end. That's really all that's involved. I'm using a light stand, but I've used like a nail in a board before. You give it a spin, you step back, you pretend like you're working, and you get a good shot. It might spin like 3 or 4 times around, and the middle spin is the one that turns out good. Super easy, just like this. You can also do multiple angles. I know it looks crazy, but it works when you edit it. I hope you enjoyed those. I hope they make your videos better. You're gonna come up with 1,000 more simple little things like that while you're goofing around with it. I'd love it if you shared them in the comments below. See you next time.